All right. Well, good evening to all of you. Owen Fritzen here with you on a Friday evening, about 11:35 here on Friday. Tracking a severe thunderstorm warning that's down here in southwest Ohio, just to the south of I-70 there in Dayton. This storm is pretty impressive with some hail that's going on in it right now, too. We're getting some returns there of 1-inch hail, along with some wind gusts up to about 60-something, 63, 64 miles an hour. Right now, this is clocking at 1 3/4 inch hail, so that's very impressive. That's radar indicated, but that's something that can do definitely some damage. So if you're in this polygon, you need to make sure that you're inside and away from windows, because we don't want to see anything get hurt or anybody get hurt outside in the storm with some torrential rain. So let's go ahead and zoom in down here in Dayton, just to the outside of Dayton for more of the Xenia area, or excuse me, it does include Xenia, Waynesville, and Centerville. We'll go ahead and read this warning text for you real quick, and this is a severe thunderstorm warning that expires here at 12 a.m., and give you some more text on this here in just 1 second. This is for northern Warren, northwestern Clinton, southern Greene, and southeastern Montgomery counties. They got this as $half size hail, and so that's pretty impressive there. So make sure that you're getting inside and away from windows. That's really the main hazard. They do have some winds in this again, but they're really indicating this being a hail threat, and they're saying that maximum gusts over 50 miles an hour, approaching like 60 mile an hour wind gusts are possible. But really the hail is the big thing, so that's why we're coming on live here for you to give you that heads up, and where you can see the majority of the hail would be in these dark, deep purples. So right here just south of Spring Valley, and let's go ahead and continue to zoom in here. So just towards the east of State Route 42, and you could have some other a little bit of a hail coming that way for you just outside of Centerville. So we're kind of zooming straight in here, and you can kind of see almost down to street level of what we got going on with this deep, dark hail. Now, radar, unfortunately, we see kind of things in the past, so this is updated probably just a little bit once we get the new return in. So I'm sure this has moved off towards the northeast a little bit. So you need to make sure that you're adhering to this. So if you're in the polygon, make sure that you're indoors and away from windows. That's the biggest threat here with this particular storm cell. Looking over here at the wind gusts, now the wind gusts not showing too much going on, and we're not seeing anything in the terms of rotation, but you are probably seeing some strong gusty winds here for what's going on here as we continue to move off here towards the northeast. So heads up to you if you're in Xenia and Jamestown, Spring Valley, and Waynesville. We could see the potential here of some pretty strong hail for you as it moves over the next few minutes. We didn't want to come on and totally overhype any situation, but we did want to come live because of the hail threat that's particular with this storm. So make sure, again, that you're heeding that advice, because we haven't seen this in a while, these dark, deep purples here on radar. That's indicating that there is some pretty strong precipitation, and strong enough where it indicates that there is potential of hail up to $half size hail. We got a pretty good look at this just because the National Weather Service radar site there in Wilmington is just off to the south. So it's pretty nice for us to see this storm cell. As you can see, the latest scan just coming in there, there's still some of those deep pockets of dark purple that is in there, and potential of some hail and some damaging hail. So need to make sure that you get indoors and make sure that you're not in vehicles, that sort of thing, because $half size hail, they're saying, is possible with the storm cell. So let's kind of look at this here for 1 second. I'll see if we can pop up a little bit of a track on this storm. Right now, they got the motion going here. Let's just see here. Just kind of looking at the storm so I can get you a good, accurate track. They got it moving at 49 knots at 240 degrees. So let's see if we can go ahead and do I don't know if I want to do a manual. We can do a manual. Let's go ahead and kind of put this into motion here, and I'm going to clear that one. I'm going to do it from the kind of this other deep, dark purple one here that's moving off here. So we've got 240 degrees at 49 knots. All right. So it's moving pretty decent as far as things go here today. So 240, we're going this way. All right. Back this down, about 55. So this is kind of the storm cell, and again, kind of moving fairly quickly. So they're saying here 11:51 to be at Shawnee Hills, Cedarville at 11:54, Jamestown 11:54 as well, which makes sense in about another 14 minutes or so. South Solon 12:04, London if it holds together 12:17, and again Hilliard if it holds together as it goes into Columbus about 12:30 or so. That's a pretty good track on that storm zone. I'm not sure if it's going to hold together that long, but we're starting to see it let up on radar. But the heavy rain potential, downpour potential is also possible with this as well. So the good thing is we're not seeing any rotation. This is not any type of tornadic threat that we're seeing at this point. We're not expecting anything in the way of tornadoes tonight. We are continuing to monitor just because anything is possible, but this threat is for torrential rain along with $half size hail that they got coming on with this. We also have a new flood warning that's coming in here as well. So for Clinton, Greene, Montgomery, and Warren counties, you'll see that just popped up on your screen. Due to that torrential rain, there is now a flood warning in effect for you as well. So you need to make sure you take that seriously. Across the state, we're seeing a lot of flooding going on, and it's one of those things where some people were evacuated. Even members on our team that are in southern Ohio were evacuated today out of their own homes because of the flooding that is going on. So you need to take this seriously. Along with the severe thunderstorm warning, there is now a flash flood warning that's in effect for northwestern Clinton County, northern Warren County, southern Greene County, and southeastern Montgomery County until 3:45 in the morning. Flash flooding is occurring in small creeks and streams, urban areas, highways, underpasses, and other poor drainage areas that they're saying here. So turn around, don't drown, especially on the roadways. Make sure that you stay out of flooding water. And what they got going on right now, between a half inch up to 1.5 inches of rain have fallen. And additional rainfall that we're expecting here of 1 to 1.5 inches are possible. Flash flooding is ongoing and or expected very shortly, according to the National Weather Service. So make sure, again, that you're heeding that as well, because the flash flooding can be very dangerous. All across Ohio, it is very, very dangerous as well. So we want to make sure that you are adhering that as well. So I'm going to take a broader view out just for everybody here, and let's go ahead and zoom the map out here to our coverage area of Ohio. You could kind of see we have some of this weather off to the southwest that we're looking at. We're keeping an eye on that as we get into tomorrow. As we get into daybreak, we'll have to kind of see what's going on with that as well. But main threat tonight here, as you can see back into Indiana, just to the east of Indianapolis, we're seeing some of those stronger lines, if you will. Nothing severe, but they're gusty, and some of them getting a little bit cranky. Some of them had some warnings on them a little bit ago, but they're a little bit cranky in special weather statements, so getting a little bit cranky tonight. But the good thing overall, we're not expecting any tornadic threat tonight. It would be gusty winds, torrential rains really being the big threat. And the only real reason that this severe thunderstorm warning, again, was issued was because of the hail threat, up to $half size hail. So if you're just joining us, we come live here just because of the severe thunderstorm warning, because it indicated that hail threat. So that is really the hazard with this storm by the National Weather Service. They are saying that it's $half size hail. The storm's moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. And again, radar indicated hail. Now, I can tell you that hail has lightened up quite a bit, thankfully, here over the latest couple of scans. But again, need to make sure $half size hail is pretty hard if you get hit with it or your vehicles or things like that. So you need to heed that advice. As we zoom back in here, you can see some of these deep, dark purples just to the south of Xenia. You could see these deep, dark purples here just to the east of State Route 68 and west of 68. This is where we're talking about some of these hails, even over here in Spring Valley as well. So you need to make sure that you're heeding that warning. Along with, you're seeing these deep, dark purples. You're also seeing torrential downfall of rain around this as well. So you're seeing these other purple, the lighter purples and even reds. That's torrential rainfall that's happening. So odds are you're not going to know it if you're out in the middle of the rain, if you will. You're going to see hail just all of a sudden be in the middle of that. Just like we had the other day, we had some tornadoes that happened, especially in the eastern portion, northeastern portion, I should say, or northwestern portion of Ohio. Clyde being one of them in Sandusky County, along with back towards Van Wert County, Putnam County. Those were rain-wrapped tornadoes the other day. But nothing like that going on tonight. But you could see that deep, dark purple pockets. Those still exist. So that's what we got going on there as well. Just kind of zooming out here for you just a little bit. You can kind of see the radar. We do have some things turned on, so don't be too afraid of those. There is there was some arrow marks earlier. Don't worry about those. That is just indicating some mesocyclones. But in this type of environment, it is something that we completely ignore right now because there's nothing going on in the terms of rotation. We can flip over to base velocity for you, and you can see here nothing in the way of any tight rotation pockets or anything that even remotely resembles any type of tornadic rotation that we got going on. So I know some of you probably have seen the arrows that's going on over here. This is some ground clutter, and it's a mesocyclone detection that we have turned on just to point us out to some things that may be of interest and give us kind of that heads up and help us out as we're continuing to look at the radar. But not seeing anything in terms of tornadic activity tonight. That's a very good thing. Now, we do got to keep an eye off down towards our southwest. We do have, again, that line of storms that is moving in our direction and we'll have to face here as we get into daybreak towards tomorrow. So let's quickly talk about that here for tomorrow. I'm going to zoom back out. You kind of see we have all across the state, we have some decent rain chances here for most of us overnight tonight. So make sure, again, that if you live in flood-prone areas, that you're prepared for that across the state. I know, again, we've had some evacuation orders in certain areas of the state as well. So it's very important that you heed that advice. So kind of zoom back out. You can see these storms that are down here. Even those don't have any, just one severe thunderstorm warning on that. It looks fairly impressive, that line, as it marches off here towards the east. We are keeping an eye on that. It's losing a little bit of steam here now that the sun has gone down. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as it comes up towards daybreak and here into the overnight hours towards daybreak tomorrow. But again, nothing right now that we're seeing in the way of tornadic threats. So that's a very good sign for everybody. So rest easy, but do make sure you have a way to receive warnings like you always should have. Make sure you have No Weather Radio. Make sure you have an app downloaded. All of that fun stuff, if you will. You can always download the Ohio News and Weather app in the App Store or Google Play Store. That will alert you. You see that little gear icon up to the top right. If you have our app, you can download and granularly adjust the settings that you want to be alerted for, the cities and the type of alerts. It's a very powerful app as far as alerting goes. So you can download our app on the App Store, Google Play as well. So feel free to download that as well. Let's go back here to our live weather radar. We're seeing some other things on radar here with that hail. And again, the latest scan come back in, and we're seeing some deep, dark purple pockets now. And radar is indicating now, yeah, you can see this. Look at how dark this is right outside of Shawnee Hills. This is about as dark as the radar can get. Right now, they're saying, according to radar, this is 3.5-inch hail, 3.42-inch hail, to be exact, is what's coming up here on the latest scan. So that is a lot. So you need to, and hopefully that's not occurring, but if it is, holy moly with hail is all I can say. When you look at hail, that's not something that you really, really want to see at all. When you see 3.5-inch hail, that is the size of apples. Very large apples, I should say. Baseball, if you don't know the analogy, a baseball is 2 3/4 inch. And if this is occurring at about 3.4 inch, we're almost large apple size type hail. I don't know how else to say that. We get up to softball size hail. It's just 4 inches. So we're in between baseball and softball size hail, according to radar right now. So if you're in that, and make sure besides the torrential rain that you're seeing, you are seeing one heck of a hailstorm with this, and that is why the National Weather Service out of Wilmington has went ahead and issued this warning. That was the main threat. There was some wind gusts between 50 and 60 miles an hour, but the main threat, again, is this hail. This is very impressive on radar. So you need to make sure, again, that you, I'm not Ryan Hall, don't want to be, so definitely not that person. But go Ryan, but not us. Deep, dark purple hail. All right, you could see this. This is now just black on the radar. Again, this is about as dark of return that we can get on radar. So that's very, very, very impressive. So you need to make sure that you're heeding the warnings that the National Weather Service is getting there for you as well. So, wow, is all I can say. So, if you're in Shawnee Hills, your time's up. You're probably getting hail right now. That is a lot of potential hail that you're seeing in that area. So we're just I'm just reading a couple things here in the background from our team and kind of looking here. And one thing I didn't notice that they just pointed out to me was they got this they got this considerable tag on here. So considerable damage is what they're saying. I'm just rereading the newest warning update here. You can see it updated. I'm going to keep this up on the screen. Yep. $half size hail, but minor damage to vehicles is possible. And they even upped this a little bit more. Radar indicated hail, max hail size. Yeah. This continues to be, they got it up to golf ball size, and they continue to get it going here. And on the latest scan, so I'll just kind of zoom out here for you. We are in Xenia, so I'm focused in here way down into southern Ohio, if you're just joining us. So we're down near Dayton. The rest of the area not seeing anything quite like this. But we're down here towards Dayton, and let's go ahead and zoom back into Dayton, and you can see this deep, dark purple. That is the hail that we're talking about and I'm waiting for the latest scan to come in, but Shawnee Hills, holy moly, they still got this clocking at 3.68-inch hail. That's the latest radar return. Now, again, they're saying that's radar indicated, so we have to take that a little bit with a grain of salt, but in all regards, it is large. Okay, so you're seeing probably right now, according to radar, you're seeing baseball-size hail. So if you're in Shawnee Hills, yeah, your time's up. If you're outside of this, I would expect them to be reissuing the warning here very shortly. So if you're in South Solon, potentially Jeffersonville, and as it comes off towards Mount Sterling, if this continues to hold together midway, you can kind of see it's taking a little bit more of a northerly turn. South Charleston heads up to you, as this is some pretty nasty hail that's with this, and some very, very strong potential downpours that are going on with this storm cell. So once we get the new update in here for the National Weather Service, I'll put a track on it for you, and we'll see what's going on. Give me one quick second here. I'm going to zoom back out. There's the new warning. So I was waiting for that. That just came back in here on our screen, as you've seen it with me. So there is a new severe thunderstorm warning that's now been issued. And this one goes here until, what do we got? 12:30 in the morning. So the new severe thunderstorm warning, and then we'll get a track on it for you. The new severe thunderstorm warning is for northwestern Fayette County, central Greene County, southwestern Clark County, southwestern Madison County until 12:30. I'll read that once again. Northwestern Fayette County, central Greene County, southeastern Clark County, and southwestern Madison County until 12:30 in the morning. Right now, the National Weather Service says at 11:52 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Jamestown, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. 2-inch hail is being reported. People and animals outdoors will be injured, expect damage to roofs, siding, windows, and vehicles. So make sure, again, that you get indoors and out of this potential hailstorm that's going on. The National Weather Service don't say this very often. They're saying impacts people and animals outdoor will be injured. Locations impacted include Paintersville, New Jasper, Lisbon, I believe it's Rosemore, Middleton Corner, Clifton, South Solon, Selma, Wilberforce, Jamestown, Old Town, Gladstone, South Charleston, Bookwater, Midway, Cedarville, Bell Center, Trebian, I think it's Trebian, sorry if I messed it up, Xenia, and Shady Grove. between markers on 71, between mile markers 78 and 80. Make sure, again, to prepare immediately for large hail and deadly cloud-to-ground lightning. Seek shelter inside a well-built structure and stay away from windows. Everything I just said is not my words. It's not Owen's words. It's the National Weather Service's words. So everything that I just said, especially with damage to vehicles, people, and animals outdoors will be injured. This is coming straight from the National Weather Service. So we need to heed the polygon, expect the polygon. So if you're in that polygon, make sure that you are respecting the polygon and get inside. So let's zoom back in on the latest area that this hail is in, just to the north of State Route 35 now. Shawnee Hills just to the north of you. So it is on a track right now for South Solon. So if you're in South Solon, you need to make sure, again, that you are seeking shelter. And they got this moving. They slowed this down just a little bit as well. So they moved this down to 38 miles an hour. So that is a little bit slower than what they had going on, 38 knots. They had a little bit fast a little bit ago. So we're looking at about 38 knots is about 44 miles an hour. So they slowed this down just a tad. So let's go ahead and put a track on this for you. Some people were asking kind of on this track. So let's go ahead and put this cell track here for you. I'm going to put it just to the leading edge of this, and we're going to go out here. About 44 miles an hour. There we go. It's close enough. So here is your impacts here. London, if you are in London, 1223. If you were in West Jefferson, 1237, 1246 Grove City, as we start to get into Columbus area. Hilliard, 1248. Valley View, 1251. 1252 for Marble Cliff, Grandview Heights in Dublin, 1255. So not, again, if that holds together, although it's doing a pretty good job right now. So South Solon, you got about 8 minutes, if that, I would say, because this has been speeding up and slowing down just a little bit. I would say South Solon, you got about 5 minutes or less right now. And you need to make sure that you're indoors with what's going on with that. So if you're just joining us again, I'll clear the track here, and we'll kind of look at some things together. Just kind of want to recap quickly here for you on what's going on and why we're live. So let's quickly zoom out here to the radar or our coverage area of Ohio. We have some stuff off towards the west that we're not really concerned with at this moment. We'll have to be concerned with that as we head into tomorrow and into daybreak tomorrow. But we're looking here in Dayton. We're seeing this deep, dark purple area. That is large hail. So let's go ahead and zoom in on our problem child area, if you will, and we're going to go down here into the Dayton area and show you what's going on here just north of Jamestown and South Solon. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning again for northwestern Fayette County, central Greene County, southeastern Clark County, southwestern Madison County until 12:30 in the morning. A severe thunderstorm is moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. Radar indicates, there again, it's still indicating 3-inch hail. National Weather Service has said 2-inch hail, and it says very exclusively here from the National Weather Service, people and animals outdoors will be injured. Expect damage to roofs, siding, windows, and vehicles. And again, make sure that you seek shelter inside, stay away from windows, and expect torrential downpours, large hail, and deadly cloud-to-ground lightning. Again, those aren't Owen's words. Those are the National Weather Service words. So make sure that you, again, seek shelter. There is some gusty winds with this, so they're saying that the wind speeds are up to 50, 55 miles an hour, but the main damaging threat and why this is being issued is the hail. Again, torrential rain also being with this. We do have a flash flood warning that was issued here as well. So flash flooding, they're saying, is occurring here in northwestern Clinton County, northern Warren County, southern Greene County, and southeastern Montgomery County. They're saying that goes until 3:45 in the morning because of these thunderstorms that's happening. So again, I'm seeing on our radar, we're showing, and again, we got to probably back this down just a little bit. We're definitely seeing something there because you see those deep, dark purples. You see the new flash flood warning just came in as well. We'll get to that here in just a quick second. But I'm still showing here on radar of 3.85 inches of hail is what they're showing here for radar. So we're almost getting, according to that, almost a softball size hail. Now, realistically, the National Weather Service is saying that it is 2-inch hail. which on the chart shows hen egg type hail. So you can think of it a little bit bigger than golf ball size hail. If what we're seeing on radar is correct, almost softball size hail, if that is truly occurring. But that's what it's showing on our backside that we're looking here on some of the stuff on the backside. But you see this deep black, almost not even purple anymore. It's just black. Okay, we don't see that very often on our radars, but holy hail is all I can say. So South Solon, you need to be indoors, not outdoors, because again, torrential rain is going to be occurring, and then all of a sudden you're going to get thumped in the head if you're outdoors with some hail and not even see it coming. So you need to be indoors, away from windows. Take this seriously. Now, we do have a new flash flood warning that goes until 3 o'clock here. So we do have a new flash flood warning that came in for northern Fayette County, southern Madison County, southeastern Greene County until 3 in the morning. So make sure, again, that you're heeding that advice as well, because they're seeing between a ½ inch and 1 inch of rain that has already fallen, and additional rainfall amounts of 1 to 1.5 inches are possible. Flash flooding is ongoing and or expected to begin shortly in most of these areas. So again, make sure you take that and heed that advice. Just checking a few things here on the backside. Not seeing much in the way of power outages, which is a good sign. We have a little bit of some power outages here in southwest Ohio, but not much in the way. 1,000 customers or less, really, what's going on right now being reported. So hopefully that's some very isolated power outages that we have going on. But as you can see, as I zoom this back out here, ignore the little symbols, okay, the rotating arrows. Ignore those right now. I know that can be a little bit, if you will, frightening, but that's not. Don't worry about those right now. That is nothing in the way of rotation. That doesn't even indicate rotation for what we're looking at. So please ignore that right now. I'm actually going to turn those off so you don't get too rambunctious with that. I turned on hail detection too, so I'm going to show you what we're seeing here. So here's what we got going on. I'll flip this up so you can see this. According to the radar, hail detection, obviously 100%. Severe hail probability, 100%. So that means that when we get to that 1 inch hail mark, that means severe hail. Okay? So they're saying there's a 100% chance there of 1 inch or greater size hail. The current size turning back on radar is going to be 1 3/4 inch hail. So you're almost getting up to softball size hail. Almost. National Weather Service has said that they're clocking it there at 2 inch hail. So, but a lot of hail going on with that storm. And we don't see this too often, and just kind of the type of setup that we got going on here today. So it's very interesting on how this is occurring. So we're continuing to monitor some things here. If you give me one quick second, I need to take a quick drink. I've been talking a lot. And give me quick second here. And just chatting away with our team on the backside here, just checking things and seeing if we got any reports or anything that's coming out. What's going on here? Yep. All right. Nothing going on yet. But so when we talk about hail too, I just kind of want to remind everybody a little bit of a quick science lesson. We have updrafts with thunderstorms, okay? So we have this moist air that's rapid risedly, if you will. So we have this upward movement. As these water vapor continues to rise, they encounter temperatures below freezing. We call that the freezing line, and it causes them to form hailstones. So the problem that we're seeing right now in this next portion of hail is it's something called layering. So they are repeatedly carried upward, and as they continue to be upward, they collide again with some water vapor and more water vapor, which forms it into very, very large hail. So depending on the growth of that hailstone, so depending on how that happens, as long as the updraft is going and strong enough to keep lifting it, as strong as we have enough upward motion to keep lifting it, it's going to keep growing, and that's what we're seeing tonight. It continues to go up, 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 and up. Normally, you hit a point where the weight is too great and it falls to the ground. Eventually, gravity does take over, but the bottom line is the bigger the updraft that we have, the bigger the hail can grow, which is very kind of a weird phenomenon tonight because we're not seeing a lot in gusty winds, but we are seeing large hail, which is kind of very weird for us. The severe thunderstorm warning, once again, is for the severe hail threat, not the wind threat. So that's very interesting that we're seeing here. Again, when it comes to flooding, and we talk about any type of flooding, flooding does not indicate severe weather. They have flash flood warnings for that. But right now, again, they haven't updated the severe thunderstorm warning as of yet, but they are still saying right now, from what I can tell, 2-inch hail radar indicated, what you're seeing on your screen as I turn the hail markers on, up to 3-inch hail. So it is just very interesting to see what's going on. I can't do a cross-section on this software, so I apologize on that. But definitely interesting to see here what's going on with how everything is rolling. It's just crazy with that. I can show you the echo tops here, so let me probe this. Yeah, so if we're probing this up here, so the tops of the storms kind of lifting up here. Echo tops is what we're calling this. Very interesting. I was looking at another software off screen, see if I could show you something there. But I guess I can't. So echo tops here right now on this particular storm, as I probed it here, is pretty large. As you can see here, 42,000 feet. That's pretty large, okay? That's up there, especially for Ohio. So there are about 42,000 feet in the atmosphere, right? So that's higher than a jetliner usually cruises. Usually airplanes are between 36 and 40,000 feet when you're flying, so in an airliner. But that's pretty large there, so we could show you those echo tops and how tall they are. So a good question that somebody posed there as well. So I appreciate you bringing that up. But looking at the looking here at the rotation, not seeing much in the way of rotation that's going on, so we're not too concerned with that. Again, you see some minor rotation, but again, nothing too crazy with that as well. So I'm seeing if I can clear that out there for you. I'm going to flip back over to reflectivity, kind of showing you where that deep dark black is. I would say deep purple, but black seems to be the color that we've been seeing here tonight on radar. All right. 1 second. Still just looking here on the back side here. Yeah. It's interesting. 42,000 feet is very interesting. We see a lot of 30,000 to 40,000, but what's the interesting phenomenon tonight is we're not seeing the winds that's going on. So some things just to keep in mind here as you head into the evening hours. Yes, you can go to bed. Just make sure you have a way to receive warnings, especially if there's any type of these storms that are lined up here, especially coming across Indiana that may turn severe due to some strong winds. Don't think we're going to see as much in the terms of hail like we've seen here just to the east of Dayton right now. But again, if you want to go to bed, make sure you have a way to receive warnings. You can download our app. There's also lots of other apps out there. I'm not going to say that I'm pro our app, but I do love our app because it gets down to that granular control. So you can see if you click on the gear icon at the top right when you download our app, you can get down to granular control on the city and the type of warnings that you want to be warned about. That's free in the App Store or the Google Play Store. So go ahead and download the app today. That's one way to receive warnings. Also, make sure that you get a weather radio. Those are fantastic tools, especially to wake you up in the middle of the night. Braxton says, golf ball-sized hail in South Solon. My girlfriend is showing me right now. It's coming down super hard. Definitely believe it in South Solon. So let's go ahead and zoom back in down here. Sorry for zooming way in. There you go, South Solon. You're definitely under the gun. So they still got it at 3-inch, but I do believe the 2-inch is right on the money. So 2-inch hail can definitely cause some damage to vehicles. So hopefully nobody's vehicles are getting damaged down there. But I think we're probably going to have a lot of damage reports coming out of this area tomorrow, especially as we get towards daylight for roofs and vehicles. So, man, I hate to see that, but that's why we're live here. I was debating whether to come live on this one, but again, kept seeing me and some other people on our team were talking earlier. We kept seeing some things down towards Cincinnati. We kept seeing some maybe downburst type winds, and then we seen some strong updrafts, and nothing was severe, and we couldn't quite figure it out on certain things. But we also just said, wow, as the hail started to form, we decided to come live because, again, it kept growing. So wow is all I can say on that. So if you're just now joining us, just kind of recap for you here. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's just been updated, so let's go ahead and read this. We're here just to the west of Dayton, so the east of Dayton. I'll get my geography right someday. So down here, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect until 12:30 right here. And let's see if I can get the latest scan to pop up. Hang on one second. There we go. 12:30 a.m. And this, again, if we're looking at the map here, this includes northwestern Fayette County, northeastern Greene County, southeastern Clark County, and southwestern Madison County. So this severe thunderstorm was located near South Charleston, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. The only hazard that they list is hail, 2-inch hail. That's what they have here coming up. People and animals outdoors will be injured. Expect damage to roof, siding, windows, and vehicles. They're saying locations impacted include Lisbon, Rosemore, South Solon, Selma, Gladstone, South Charleston, Bookwater, Midway, Cedarville, Bell Center, Shady Grove, Jamestown, and Jeffersonville. Now, if there's some good signs on the latest scan that just came in, you've seen an update on your screen here. You're seeing that the hail marker has backed off to 2-inch. So hopefully, maybe we're going to be starting to see this calm down a little bit and die down. But I'm looking at another software off screen. We're definitely still seeing some stuff there that's still pretty high up in the atmosphere as far as hail that's forming. So the hail core, if you will, in the storm cell has been shrinking. So that's a good sign. And just now to the north of South Solon and south of South Charleston, you can sign to see here as I go down almost to street level. I don't know if I can probe that or not. Give me 1 second here. It's been a minute since I had to do that. Let me go ahead and name some roads, ROADs. So this road here, there we go. I remember how to do it. Pancake Salsa Road. I would pick that, wouldn't I? So you can see that's one of the roads there. And this is Midway Road. So this is where the deepest part of the hail that's forming right now. But again, moving here to the north and towards the east just so slightly. So let's pop on this road. This is Old Xenia Road southwest. Pop on this road here and see what we got. Or not. Doesn't want me to do that, so I'll just clear those. But those are some of the roads there. But definitely some deep, dark purple and black. So along with that is you're seeing, yes, I know, I love pancakes too. I'm a fat guy and I like pancakes. But black, purple heading towards London. Yes, it is heading towards London. Let's put this into motion for you. You can kind of see here the movement of the storm. So if it holds together right now, yes, it will be in London here, probably within the next 20 minutes or so. So you need to make sure that you're heeding that. You are under severe thunderstorm warning that they've issued. So you'd see on your screen here, we got another severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued that includes London. So yes, it is heading towards your area. So let's look here. You can see here the new severe thunderstorm warning just was issued here. And yeah, here we go. This one goes until, what do we got? 12:45. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning here, thus out ahead of this. This one goes until 12:45. That includes western Franklin County, east central Clark County, and Madison County until 12:45. So this is the newest warning that just came in. Again, this goes until 12:45. So this is the newest warning here. And so this box out here, I'll drag that up a little bit on the screen. Again, for western Franklin County, east central Clark County, Madison County until 12:45, 2-inch hail still being pinged by the National Weather Service. The storm's moving now at 55 miles an hour, so it's picked up speed from the last time, about 10 miles an hour. They're saying, again, impacts include people and animals outdoors will be injured. Expect damage to roofs, siding, windows, and vehicles. If you're on Interstate I-70 between mile marker 72 and 91, I-71 between mile marker 87, and between mile markers 92 and 94, you need to make sure that you seek shelter now. This storm is producing large hail. Seek shelter now inside a sturdy structure and stay away from windows. All that was said is from the National Weather Service. They have this tagged. Hail threat is observed. So they're saying 2-inch hail now has been observed. And they're saying the thunderstorm damage threat is considerable. They don't use those words too often. The National Weather Service reserves those for very high impact events, and they don't use this very often. So when they're saying considerable, you need to take warning on this. If this holds together for a portion of the Columbus area, if it holds together, yeah, we could see some hail as it moves towards Columbus. Hopefully this is on the downward trend, but we're still seeing, the nice thing is we're seeing this start to shrink up a little bit. Hopefully some of that updraft is finally starting to choke itself off. We shall see, but hopefully it's going to happen. But right now, where you're seeing this deep purple, you're seeing some pretty decent size hail, but even greater you're seeing here is in this dark black area and this even turning white inside of the black area. So that is about as maxed out as the radar can get. That is roughly 80 dBz. That is about as big as and much as the radar can get. We continue to see hail reports come in now on the backside too, and kind of zoom out. You see all these reports here, leaving it. So we're seeing magnitude 1-inch hail, 1-inch hail, 1-inch hail. Employee from the National Weather Service says 1-inch hail, and back here 0.7. So we're seeing the hail reports start to come in as it's moving across here through our counties here in southwestern Ohio. So the latest scan, I'll kind of zoom in here a little bit. You can see that 1-inch marker just flagged on your screen, which is good. We're starting to see, hopefully, it start to again, the updraft start to slow down a little bit. As we have this strong updraft, we're starting to see hail, and the faster and the larger the updraft, I should say, the bigger the hail can get. As far up in the clouds in the atmosphere that it gets sucked up, the bigger the hail gets, and eventually gravity takes over and it falls down. So we don't see this event very often in Ohio, especially a severe thunderstorm warning that's not warned for winds. Usually, I would say, you got to think about your severe thunderstorm warning. If it's a tornado warning, then there's a tornado. Otherwise, you have two criteria for severe thunderstorm warnings. You have 58-mile-an-hour wind gusts or greater, or 1-inch hail. We usually don't see a severe thunderstorm warning in Ohio issued just for hail. This is a very interesting phenomenon. We don't see that very often. And when they're using the words, again, considerable, you need to make sure that you're taking it very seriously. You need to respect the polygon, get indoors, and remember that torrential rainfall also is occurring with this storm. We're seeing flash flood warnings, as you can see on your screen there too, just to the south, flash flood warnings as well that have been issued due to the torrential downpours. And we're seeing flooding across the entire state. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see more flash floods as we move across here into tomorrow. We're going to get a lot of rain, so there's going to be a lot of roads that are going to be flooded, a lot of streams and creeks and rivers potentially flooding here as for the next couple of days. And people in all across Ohio need to be prepared for that. I know some members on our own team, again, were evacuated from their own house earlier this evening due to the fact that they had flooding that was occurring and they were mandated to be evacuated. Coming in from my team on the backside to a person that we call Dr. D. Dr. D says 3-inch hail has been confirmed. So, yeah, definitely wouldn't surprise me. Tomorrow, I think you're going to see a lot of hail reports and hail damage reports come in. I am going to venture to say you're going to see a lot of cars that got some nice dings in them. And I'm going to say that you're probably going to see a lot of roof damage probably come in throughout this area tomorrow. 3-inch hail is very large. That is baseball size, larger than baseball size hail, actually. So you got to think about that. That's crazy. If 3-inch hail is confirmed, we kind of go on the chart from baseball to softball size. Softball's 4 inches, baseball's 2 3/4 inches. So basically, baseball size hail. And I wouldn't be surprised that you're continuing to see 1-inch hail right now or greater across the area. You're starting to see, hopefully, that updraft is choking itself off. I'm hoping, because that is continuing to get a little bit smaller. And that's what we like to see. Hopefully, we're going to see the updraft choke itself off, which means the hail, everything will start to die down. Again, we're not even dealing with a wind threat right now. It's kind of crazy. So 3-inch hail has been reported and confirmed, the National Weather Service has stated. So that's very interesting, because think about this. 1-inch hail is quarter-size hail. Okay, when we look at that in our little hail chart and reference chart, we look at that to get people to understand that. We have quarter-size hail, which is 1-inch hail. Then we look at ping-pong ball-size hail, which is 1.5 inch. Then we see golf ball size, which is 1 3/4 inch. And then you go up to hen egg hail, if anybody knows what a hen egg looks like. Then you get into tennis ball size hail, which is 2.5 inches. Then you get into baseball, which is 2 3/4 inches. And then the next step on the chart, just for reference, is softball size hail, which is 4 inches. So larger than baseball size hail. That is very, very large and can do a lot of damage. And I'm sure that we're going to see a lot of damage reports come in as the night progresses, and especially as we get into daybreak tomorrow. So we're continuing to look at this here. We have this deep purple area, which is getting a lot smaller, which is a good thing, I should say, that we're looking at here for the area, and we'll take it, because we've seen that area of large hail earlier was massive, and it was almost too massive. It was almost gut-wrenching, especially for people that look at weather radar and things like that. We don't see that around here very often. We see that out in the plains a lot because of the tall updrafts, but around here, not something we see very often at all. So that was kind of gut-wrenching for us as we continued to look at that, and hopefully there's been no injuries or anything greater than that reported. I'm hoping. My biggest fear, and we look at weather, is if you get caught in these torrential downpours, which are occurring, and then you get thumped with baseball-size hail, no telling what could happen, especially if you're driving. Accidents can happen, things like that. So that's the gut-wrenching part that we face here in the weather world as forecasters and meteorologists. We face that gut-wrenching reality that could be happening, and we hate it because there's no real way to, unfortunately, people that are driving, a lot of times people don't heed the severe thunderstorm warnings at all. We're living in that society, unfortunately, right now. A lot of people have asked to, well, I got a quick second on this. A lot of people have asked, the tornadoes, we're seeing more and more tornadoes. The good thing is in Ohio, this time we're down on our averages right now. So I know we're going to be putting out a graphic. One of our team members, Brant Warren, is our tornado tracker, if you will. He's going to be putting that graphic out probably by tomorrow. But we're down on the tornado count, which is a good thing. Compared to last year. A lot of people are asking, okay, why are we getting more and more tornadoes than we ever have in history? And to be honest with you, I don't think, in my humble opinion, that we are getting more tornadoes. I think we're finding them now. We have different technology now that we didn't have 20 years ago. We have better radar tools that can pinpoint where this potential storm damage was. Back in the day, a lot of people just chalked it up and said, oh, it was wind. Oh, well. They never reported it. But nowadays, with the technology, we can kind of pinpoint where this is at. And then the one thing that I love, because this is what I do in my day job, is drone technology. So when we have drones, like the one in Clyde, Ohio, was confirmed by a drone. I know the pilot very well. He's sitting in the same room. That drone pilot, which was me, we could see the swirls in the actual corn, not corn, I should say, but the field, and you can kind of see where that track was. So that was very interesting to see. So we have this technology now that can help us confirm. Otherwise, if we didn't have a drone up in Sandusky County and we didn't have a drone look at that, I don't think it would ever have been chalked up to tornado. It would have been chalked up to hail, or excuse me, straight line wind damage, and that was it. Because these are very inconclusive sometimes to look at. But then once you get the drone up, if you will, boom, we could see the track. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom back in here. You kind of see this hail, I say hail core of the storm is becoming a lot smaller, which is great. Great news here, just to the west of just to the east of 38, and that's 38 Southwest is the other road here. So we're seeing that. So it's a lot smaller area. So we're very thankful for that it seems to be starting to die off. We're still seeing that 1-inch hail marker come on radar, but hopefully it is starting to die down. And then there's the latest scan. I zoomed out too quickly. Let's go ahead and zoom back in down here. Yes, we're finally starting to see some relief on this. Now, I say that, we're not seeing that deep, dark purple and a lot of black anymore, but you're still seeing 1-inch hail, which is still severe and can cause damage. But right now, from the looks of it, we're not seeing the baseball-size hail that we were seeing earlier. So that's a very good sign for us here across Ohio as this approaches here towards Columbus and the Columbus metro area. Hopefully it dies down. So if you're just joining us, we come live here. I'll go ahead and zoom back out. I'll kind of zoom out across the area, and we'll flip back on some other radar here for you to see some of the heavy rain that's occurring back off towards our west, and we'll continue to see that move across Ohio. So that is going to continue tomorrow, prompting us for probably more flood warnings and flash flood warnings. So you need to make sure that you take that as seriously as possible as well, because some areas that we've never seen flood before are flooding. So the flood is getting worse, and it's something that, yes, and I think somebody put something in the comments there. I do agree that the flooding has gotten worse. And again, that deals with a whole nother level of things that we don't really know or we don't really study. Geology and some things underneath the ground and the water tables are something that fascinates me. Up in northern Ohio, we have Bellevue, which had the water table and the karst that was up to potentially 10 foot below the ground. Well, that ground was so saturated that when it would rain, it would start to flood people's basements very easily and cause damage because the ground was so flooded. So I do think there's a whole phenomena underground, and we deal with earthquakes and things, and a whole phenomena that we don't even realize. And I do think that has a big play in a lot of the flooding and the flood tables as well. I think we're seeing more and more of that. Now, yes, we have rivers and streams and all that flood, and some of those don't flood, but we're seeing these flooding areas that we normally don't see. I know we have a lot of rain, and that's what needs to cause that, but also we have to be careful with what's underneath the ground as well, because again, that whole phenomenon underground can cause flooding to occur and occur rapidly, maybe that once greater than it once was. Let's take a look here. I'm getting an alert on my phone. Good old trusty iPhone here. And yeah, okay. I'm not even sure what that was. But anyway, so we're looking here. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning still in effect here. So let's go ahead and rattle this off for you right now. So the severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect, there's two of them. One's going to die off here very shortly. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect until 12:45 for western Franklin and Madison counties. This is located near London, moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. They're now saying ping pong ball size hail has been reported and is ongoing. And this is the latest update that came in about 3 or 4 minutes ago from the National Weather Service. So, again, till 12:45, that's the only hazard on the storm. They're not even saying gusty winds. So that's the only hazard that they're saying on this storm. So that's what we got going on. We come live because of the severe hail that was ongoing. Now, I can say we're starting to see it normalize. Normally what we see around here, we may have some just pockets of black and deep purple, but earlier the biggest part of this was just pure black. It spiked the radar as high as it can go. 80 dBz was what it was coming in at. That is the highest return that we can get, which means it was indicative of large hail. So that's not as large and not as we're not seeing that was life-threatening back then. We're not seeing as much as life-threatening as it was. I know that sounds terrible, but it sounds terrible to say, yeah, we're seeing ping pong ball size hail and we're happy about it. No, that still is severe hail, but earlier we were seeing upwards of baseball size to softball size hail across the area. So I think we're going to see a lot of hail reports come in tomorrow. I think we're going to see a lot of damage on roofs, probably a lot of insurance claims coming in tomorrow for some of these areas that had that large hail. So kind of zooming out here across the area overnight tonight, you kind of see there's nothing else as far as the way of severe weather that's going to impact our area. But we are seeing some really heavy downpours back here towards Indiana, Indianapolis. You see the flash flood warnings out there in the green boxes. We do have a, down here, we are watching this other storm cell that has a special weather statement on it, kind of in this light yellowish box that we're looking at. So just coming outside here of Blanchester, this one does have a tag there of 1 inch. So we're watching an eye on that. Not saying that 1 inch is occurring, but we are continuing to see, we're keeping an eye on that because, again, that does have a special weather statement on it. So we are keeping an eye on that one, and so is the National Weather Service. So the good thing is we're starting to see this leading boundary here start to choke itself off as far as the hail goes, which is a good sign for it. Now, albeit there is still a severe thunderstorm warning, so we need to respect that polygon and make sure that you're indoors and away from windows and seeking shelter. So, with that being said, I am not going to continue to stay live. I do think we're at a point now where I don't want to say we're out of that severe hail, but we were in that catastrophic tagged category, which was something that warranted us to come live, and we have that gut-wrenching feeling in our stomachs when we see that, so that's why we came live. So hopefully we won't see too much of this going on the rest of the evening, but be assured that we are here. The entire team is watching it with us. Well, most of the entire team. We let some people, Dr. D, have an evening off, but he is resting from his other job. But we do have, we are watching this, and we'll continue to come back live as we need to. But right now, again, heavy rain overnight, not much in the way of severe weather besides the hail threat. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. Real quick before I go, I will pop on from the Storm Prediction Center. I did want to show this to you. Let me turn off the radar. So we're looking here at the categorical outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. So you kind of see here day one, so everybody's kind of in that marginal risk, and we have this slight risk extend just so slightly here near Cincinnati. So we got to look at that. And then as we continue here into day number 2, we're seeing that slight risk again increase and encroach here on the southwest portion of the state. And then when we get day 3, we're out of there. But we're going to have to continue to monitor that. So again, the day 2 outlook, this would be for Saturday. This is because I know we're past midnight, but the latest one hasn't been issued yet. But this is what we're kind of talking about for the day tomorrow. This is because of those storms that are firing up back here. You could kind of see this. There's some tornado warnings back here that we're seeing firing off. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this because we do have just some slight risk areas there in yellow that are under the gun for tomorrow as we head towards daybreak. And then the rest of the area here in the darker green is under a marginal risk for tomorrow. So we're going to keep an eye on that. So if you're in those areas tomorrow, just make sure you have a way to receive warnings for tomorrow. All right. With that being said, I want to thank you for joining us here. I'm going to let the radar take us out, and we'll continue to monitor things as we need to and come back live as we need to. I hope you enjoyed the coverage. And again, especially with the flash flooding, remember, turn around, don't drown. Have a great evening, everyone.